Thank you, President Miller, Angela, neighbor members, friends. It's good to be with you today. I'm excited to be with you today. It's good that my wife, Amy, can be here with us as well. Amy and I celebrated 18 years of marriage last month, and she'd be the first to tell you that living with me for the last 18 years has been a lot of work. In preparation for today's meeting, I looked at some data and talked to some stakeholders in your industry. And of course, I wanted to have a meeting with Angela. And so we met last month for about 45 minutes. And the first 30 minutes of the meeting were very informative. I learned the names of every pet that's available for adoption in the Northwest Florida area. Yeah. Well, actually, after meeting with Angela, who does have her finger on the pulse of the real estate community, obviously, and meeting with stakeholders and looking at the data, I've got something to share with you that may come as a little bit of a surprise. It's a pretty good time to be in the real estate business. Property values are up. Rental values are up. New home starts are up. It's easier for your buyers to get financing. Property taxes remain low, and we are growing at an alarming rate. Santa Rosa County right now is the top 10 fastest growing county in the state of Florida, and our highly ranked school system, our school district is ranked number 6 in the state of Florida for growth. There's no doubt that growth is coming to our community. And you know, our real estate business does have positive momentum, but our community and our county also have positive momentum. And it's that positive momentum and your part that you can play in continuing that momentum is what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today. Now, no one knows better than the folks in this room the good news about the fact that we are heading in the right direction. Every time I get the opportunity to speak to this group, I tell you that I believe you're the most influential group in South County. And I don't say that to any other group as far as you know. Now, the trends, the needs, the wants, the desires, the passions, the concerns, the aspirations of our community, it comes to your desks first. You sell, you rent, you finance property for military families only here for a short time. You do the same for local families that have lived here their entire lives. You rented Amy and I our first home on Riverside Landing Drive, and you sold us our first home in Navarre on Copper Reef. That was 14 years ago. Now, at the time, Amy and I didn't have expectations that we would be in the community for 14 years. It was just a stopping point along the way in our career. Now we can't imagine living anywhere else. It has become part of our family's history and our family's story. And like many of you, we decided to stay here because we love the Panhandle values. We love the people, the patriotism. We love the potential and the indescribable beauty and serenity of this place. That's why we decided to stay here. Now, why do I feel that NABOR is so important to the community? Look around you. This room is filled with small business owners, entrepreneurs, and family that are intimately involved with the community more so than anyone else. It was no accident that 4 years ago, or almost 4 years ago in this very room, I decided to announce my re-election or my election campaign to serve as your county commissioner. Got a little ahead of myself there. It's no coincidence that I'm here again today at a NABOR luncheon to let you know that right now I'm announcing my re-election campaign to continue serving as your Santa Rosa County Commissioner. I filed the paperwork this morning with the Supervisor of Elections Office, Pt1. I want to tell you that I'm excited about this campaign. I'm excited about this campaign because I'm excited about the momentum that we have built over the course of the last 2 years, and I'm excited about what is possible for this community. Something to know about momentum, though. Momentum is tough to define. You know what it looks like when you see it, and you know what it looks like when it's happening, but it's tough to define. But you can definitely feel it. Now, how many of you watched the Super Bowl this year? No. Too soon? Sorry, that's what you get for that don't raise their salaries blast right there. Yeah. Baston's happy. That's the type of unity that we've come to know and love right here in Navarre. So those of you that did watch the Super Bowl, you know that with less than 5 minutes left, Julio Jones made one of the greatest catches in Super Bowl history. At that moment, there was 4 minutes and 47 seconds left in the game. Atlanta had the ball 1st and 10 at the Patriots' 22-yard line, and they had the momentum. All they had to do was run 3 plays, right? 3 running plays, exhaust the Patriots' timeout, kick a field goal, go up by 2 scores, and the game would be over. But then a series of things happened that changed the momentum, and we all know what happened at the end as a result. I don't know that there's a lot of people that when overtime started, they would have said that they thought Atlanta was going to win the game. Why is that, though? I mean, it was a tie game at that point. It was 0-0. They had the same amount of timeouts. There was no key injuries. You wouldn't think that one team would have the advantage over the other. And yet I don't imagine you'd have a lot of people that would be willing to bet on Atlanta when the overtime started. And that's because the momentum was clearly with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. You could see it and you could feel it. The momentum right now is with this community. You can see it and you can feel it. But it wasn't always that way. How many of you remember what it was like 4 years ago? Did you feel as though your community had positive momentum? Did you feel as though things were heading in the right direction? 4 years ago, the complaints and the concerns were broad-based. They ran the gamut. There was talk of incorporation, lack of accountability, infrastructure issues, incorporation. There was talk of beach beautification and tourism and sidewalks and playgrounds and, did I mention incorporation? Back then, it didn't make a difference what you asked about. Nothing was going right. Now the biggest problem we face is we've got 2 chambers. Back then, folks, the struggle was real, okay? Back then, 4 years ago, did you feel as though anybody was listening to us? Did you feel as though your government was interested in your vision or your plans for the future, or that they were making plans without us? Did you think that your tax dollars were being put to work here in this community or everywhere else? Did you have any evidence of your local elected representative fighting on your behalf in Milton or in Tallahassee or in D.C.? If you're like me, I thought that everywhere else in the county was moving forward while we were getting left behind. Now, why do you think that the complainers are quieter now than they were then? Because of that momentum. Do you remember what Concerned Citizens of Navarre was like 4 years ago? It wasn't divisive. It was downright personal. Now if you log on to Concerns, it's become a place to find lost pets and to ask that compelling question, hey, is that a poisonous snake? What kind of snake is that? Is that one of them there water moccasins? Folks, I can tell you, I walk out my house on my back porch and I see a snake. 1 of 2 things is going to happen, all right? 1, I'm going to try to get as far away from that thing as possible. And 2, if it startles me, I'm probably going to be looking for a clean pair of shorts, okay? What I'm not going to do is hang out and try to identify that sucker. I'm out. Those complainers and those folks from 4 years ago when the struggle was real, they're quieter now because of the momentum we've had, the momentum that we have. And that's because we are a changed community and county from the one that we had when I addressed you nearly 4 years ago today. Now, how did that happen? Was it just luck? Did the cosmic community improvement lottery shine upon us and just good things started to happen? Within 2 months of taking office, I surveyed the members of this community and I asked you what improvements you wanted to see for your community. And the results of that survey became my to-do list. You told me what change you wanted. But as is typical for NABOR, big change is what you wanted. You didn't want small improvements. You wanted big improvements, big change. You know, we've got a new slogan that was just unveiled a couple days ago. Navarre Beach, the Florida Panhandle's friendliest place? No, most relaxing place. I apologize. Most relaxing place. It probably should be Navarre Beach. Go big or go home. I knew that the changes that you were asking for were probably going to put a target on my back. Because here's the thing about change. Change is uncomfortable, right? Change invites criticism. Okay, I see some of you don't think that maybe change invites criticism. For those of you who don't think that change invites criticism, after the meeting today, here's what I want you to do. Go home and rearrange all of the clothes in your spouse or significant other's dresser. Take their toothbrush, put it in another drawer in the house, and change the brand of toilet paper you're using. And then give me a call in a couple of days and tell me if you don't think that change invites criticism. I can tell you that there's one constant when it comes to leadership, especially as I'm finding out when it comes to elected leadership, and that is that change always accompanies criticism. When you challenge the good old boys and girls, you're going to invite criticism. When you disrupt the flow of money for certain special interests, you will definitely invite criticism, okay? This is why most politicians, and especially first-time ever politicians, they don't bring about real or lasting change. Now, sure, all politicians will stand up and they will promise to bring the change that the voters want. I'm your person to deliver that for you. And I even think that a lot of first-time politicians, that they believe that they're going to bring about real change. And then something happens. They get elected. And that's when they find out that everybody says they want change and accountability, right up until that point when change and accountability impacts them. When I took office, this community needed immediate results. We didn't have time for me to wait around being politically correct, because here's the problem. Government bureaucracy and those who are supporters of the status quo, they slow everything down. Everything down. I didn't have time to wait around for government to solve our problems that we had already waited far too long for them to solve. Now, I've made some mistakes as your commissioner trying to bring results too quickly. Absolutely. And if you allow me to continue representing you, I'm going to make more mistakes. Amy can definitely attest to that. Here's what I won't do. Well, I'm going to accept responsibility for my mistakes. I'm going to try to learn from them. I'm going to try to apply what I've learned to be a better service to the organization that I'm serving, and then I'm going to move on. I'm not going to blame others for mistakes that I've made. And I'm not going to use the county commission for an opportunity to make decisions for political advancement over good public policy. Folks, we've got to start rewarding elected leaders who base their decisions on benefiting those who gave them an opportunity to serve, not basing their decisions on those who cut them a campaign check. We need to make sure that we're supporting leaders who make honorable decisions that benefit the community, not their political career or their political advancement. I remember shortly after I got elected, I had the opportunity to, well, you really have the opportunity, you have to do it. It was a mandatory ethics class. We have to take it every year. And